Hello, 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 and welcome to Magic the Gathering, aka Adia does Magic the Gathering, because I want to play something that's other than Epic 7, because Epic 7 is currently kicking me in the dick as far in as it'll go, which, to be fair, isn't that far in, but still. I prefer not to be kicked in the dick if I can avoid it. Anyway, I am going to be teaching you all, very quickly, what Magic is, how Magic works, so that you can kind of follow along if you want to watch this stuff, if you're interested. Magic the Gathering is one of my favorite games. I've been playing it for the past 14 years. It's very fun. It's still got a little bit of RNG in it, but you can't really avoid that. But it is mostly skill-based. So that's good. It gets to show off my brain power and my lack of skill. That's why I do Epic 7, is because I don't have any skill and I have to rely on RNG, and then I yell at RNG for happening. That's the secret. Don't let it out. Anyway, I've already spent a minute. I wanted this to be like 10 minutes, so I'm just going to go over everything really quickly. First and foremost, there are 5 main colors in Magic the Gathering. There is white. There is blue. Whoa. There is black. There is red. And there is green. These are the 5 colors of Magic, and with your powers combined, Captain Planet. And they each have their corresponding lands. White spells can be cast with white mana. Blue spells, blue mana, or an island. White mana are plains. Black can be spent with swamps. Red can be spent with mountains, and green can be spent with forests. I don't know why all of them gave 5 except for the forests, which gave 4. Not too sure. And then there are further breakdowns from there. There are colorless cards, which are artifacts. Mostly. I'm not going to get into actual colorless cards because that only happened once. So I'm not going to go into these. These are artifacts. Artifacts can be spent with any type of magic because they just have, or any type of mana, which is the name of the energy that you use. They can be cast with one of any color. That's why it's just a generic one. It doesn't matter if you pay a swamp, an island, a forest. It does not matter. It just costs 1 mana of any type. And that's great. There are also gold cards. Gold cards are any cards that have more than 1 color of cost in them. Like, take this one. This card can only be cast with 1 white mana and 1 blue mana. So you need a white source and you need a blue source, and you have to tap the white for white and the blue for blue, and you'd be able to play this card. Now, if there is a card, while I'm scrolling, that is like this, where it is a 2 white blue, that means one of your colors has to be blue, one of them has to be white, and the other 2 can be any color of the rainbow. They could also be white or blue, they could be black or green or red. It does not matter. The 2 can be anything. The white has to be white, the blue has to be blue. Now that you know the basics of the colors, there are also different types of lands. There are special lands, these kinds. They also tap for the color of they are. There are what are called dual lands, which tap for 1 of 2 colors. And they come in pretty much every color. Every color combination that you can get. So like this mana. As it says on the tin, you can tap it for either a blue or you can tap it for either a white. Tapping is essentially using the mana. So you have to put this from a vertical card and usually turn it horizontal, and that means you have used that mana. So you cannot untap it until the beginning of your turn during what's called the untap step. Now, I can explain, now that I've explained colors, let me go over the step system. So, each turn follows a series of steps, And they can get a little bit more in depth the more you look at them, but the basic is untap, which is when all of your mana and all of your creatures untap, so they are able to be used again. Upkeep is, it's kind of like an intermediary step where there are some effects that happen during the upkeep step. If nothing happens during upkeep, you can just skip right over it. It still does happen, but you can just go to the next step, which is the draw step, and that's when you draw a card for your turn. You draw one card per turn. You can draw additional cards if you play cards that allow you to draw cards. Then, after the draw step, you are in your main phase 1. Main phase 1, you can cast pretty much anything you want. And you can play one land per turn. So it could be whatever land you want. You can play one of them per turn. So you play your land for the turn, and then you can do whatever you want. You can play any type of card that your heart so desires during that step. Once you are done in main phase 1, you go to combat. Combat is broken up into attack step, block step, and damage step, and then the end of combat. Attack is when you attack with the creatures you want to attack with. Block step is when your opponent blocks with the creatures that they want to block with. Damage step is when they fight each other and do damage to each other. End of combat is essentially just the cleanup, and then it goes to main phase 2, which is the same as main phase 1. You can play any type of card you want during that phase. Once main phase 2 is done, it goes to the end step and then the cleanup step. End step is essentially just the end of your turn, and cleanup is just kind of a secondary turn that if you need to like discard the hand size, that's when you would do it. Your hand size at any given time is 7. There are cards that can increase it or decrease it, but they're usually not that relevant. But your main max hand size is 7. There are several different types of cards that you can play. Let me go ahead and bring them up. Oh god, I'm losing control already. So there are creatures like this cat. This cat is a creature. It can attack and block. The leftmost number is its power. That's how much damage it deals. The rightmost number is its toughness. That's how much damage it can take before it dies. And that is a creature. An instant is a card you can play at any time. And that means during your opponent's turn as well. It is instant. You can play it during your upkeep. You can play it during your main phase. I wouldn't recommend it. You can play it during your combat step to make math more difficult for attacking. You can play it during your opponent's turn. You can play it really whenever you like, at instant speed. Let's see. This is a sorcery. Sorceries can only be played during your main phases. It can only be played at sorcery speed, which is just either during main phase 1 or main phase 2. You cannot cast it during your opponent's turn. You cannot cast it during combat. You cannot cast it any other time than main phase 1 and main phase 2. An enchantment is a spell that remains on the battlefield. So you play this, it plops down on the battlefield, and it stays there and does an effect, or has an effect that you can, activate. Let's see. Creature, instant, sorcery, enchantment. Let's see. There is... Well, I've already kind of gone over it, but artifacts are another type of card type. They just show up. You play them. They go on the battlefield, and they stay there. They can't attack or block. And they have effects. There can be artifact creatures, and there can be enchantment creatures, and that just means they are both an artifact and an enchantment, artifact or enchantment, as well as a creature. So it has the benefits of being an enchantment, but also the benefits of being a creature. Let's see. What else is there? There are also planeswalkers. Planeswalkers are a special type of card that would take me forever. Let's just look up. Let's look up Ral. I think I have a Ral. I don't. I don't have a Ral. Let's look up Chandra. I don't have a Chandra. Oh god, do I have anything? Do I have like no Planeswalkers? Jace. Maybe if I... Blue. Oh god, I don't have anything. Anyway, a Planeswalker is another type of card. It's... I've just got to look for... Let's look for Chandra again. Chandra. I don't have anything. Oh well. Can I look? Type. Creature, Planeswalker, instant sorcerer. Battle is new. Battle is... Don't worry about battle. Let's look at an enchantment. Okay. I have a Liliana the Veil? When did I get Liliana the Veil? Anyway, this is a Planeswalker. It is also a card kind of like an enchantment, but it has special abilities that you can do. It has what is called loyalty counters, which are the 3 in the bottom right-hand corner. And you can add a loyalty counter to get the first effect. You can take away 2 loyalty counters to get the secondary effect. And you can take away 6 to get the third, which is usually called an ultimate. And an ultimate usually involves what's called ticking up or just adding loyalty to it. You can only activate 1 ability per turn. So if I +1 on my turn, I cannot -2 and I cannot -6. I have chosen which ability to use. I can use that once during my turn, and then I cannot use it until it is my turn again. And then I can either +1 or -2, whichever I choose. But they just kind of sit on the battlefield. They're another thing to attack, for your opponent to attack instead of you. They're very fun. They're very interesting. I think that is everything I need to say at this time. I wanted to keep it relatively brief, so I hope you enjoyed learning with Adia. I've spent so much time and effort and money in Magic the Gathering, and I love it dearly. It's very, very fun. And I hope you'll enjoy watching me play, because it's fun. It's enjoyable, and I want to make it enjoyable for you. If you do play Magic and you want to know who I am, this is my thing. You can friend me if you want. We can fight. Sure, I'm good with fighting. But yeah, this is me. I enjoy Magic the Gathering, and I hope you guys will too. I love all of you. Have a great day.